9 things that you should never discuss with anyone over the age of 70 in order to safeguard your tranquility, privacy, and overall health. Is there ever a time when you disclosed something personal, only to later come to regret it? As we become older, the importance of maintaining our privacy becomes more apparent. The passage of time brings about the development of a knowledge that is not just about what to say but also about what not to say. After the age of 70, the things that we discuss can have unanticipated repercussions, and sometimes what seems like a harmless chat can evolve into stress, misunderstanding, or even vulnerability that we did not intend to create. Within the context of this video, we will discuss 9 things that you should never discuss with anyone over the age of 70. It is not because you have a need to conceal yourself, rather, it is because it is more important than ever to safeguard your tranquility, privacy, and personal safety. Neither of these are secrets that are based on shame. These boundaries are the result of years of experience. Every single one of them is intended to assist you in avoiding emotional hardship, safeguarding your legacy, and maintaining your dignity throughout this significant period of your life. There is a good chance that you will discover that these 9 things are worth keeping closer to you, regardless of whether you have always been an open book or you are simply more reserved by nature. Since what you choose to share or not share does not establish a sense of distance between you and the other person, and since what you do not say can sometimes be just as powerful as what you do say, it imparts wisdom upon you. Stay here with me until the very end, because by the time we get to the very last point, you might discover that you are able to see your regular conversations in a whole different light. And you might even find that you are able to establish boundaries that you were unaware you needed. Let's get started. First and foremost, your comprehensive financial situation. Not only should you secure your financial information from strangers, but you should also protect it from well-meaning friends and family members. After the age of 70, this is one of the most critical things you should preserve. The act of openly discussing topics such as the amount of money you have saved, the structure of your pension, or the total value of your home may appear to be harmless, particularly when doing so in informal chats. On the other hand, once that information is made public, it remains public, and not everyone behaves with caution when dealing with it. The moment that people are aware of what you possess, there is a subtle shift that takes place. Expectations are subject to change. Boundaries become hazy. There is a possibility that you may be requested for assistance more frequently or that you will be coerced into possibilities that are not truly beneficial to you, due to the fact that they are aware of what you own. Members of your family who have good intentions may start to assume that they have access to goods that were never guaranteed to them. What's more, excessively disclosing your financial information can open the door to manipulation. There has been an increase in the number of scams that target senior citizens. And the more information someone has about your income, assets, or lifestyle, the simpler it is for them to customize their approach to your situation. In other cases, the danger does not originate from outside of your immediate group. It must originate from within. This does not imply that one should live in secret. It means having a critical mentality. Do not divulge any financial information to anyone who is not required to know it. Your trusted partner or spouse, your financial advisor, and possibly one member of your family who has been legally designated as an executor or family member. On the other hand, people who are only casual friends, distant cousins, or even neighbors who are unduly curious do not require access to those aspects of your life. Individuals who age wisely frequently consider conversations about money as if they were medical records. Not because they are embarrassed, but rather because they are aware of the potential consequences of divulging an excessive amount of information. And the fact that you have this boundary does not make you cruel. It provides you with protection. You will continue to have complete control over your financial decisions, and your peace of mind will be preserved. This brings us to the second point, your personal medical history in informal settings. At a certain age, health becomes an integral component of one's day-to-day life. Appointments with the doctor, new drugs, aches and pains, All of these things are real. They are present, and they are frequently discussed in conversation without a second thought being given to those things. However, after the age of 70, it is advisable to take a little pause before delving into the specifics of your medical history. Particularly in circumstances that are not intimate or casual, your narrative is essential, not because it is not important, but because how it is perceived can affect how other people perceive you and how they treat you. In the event that you publicly discuss every diagnosis, every procedure, and every concern, there is a possibility that other people may start to regard you solely through the prism of that particular perspective. It is possible that you will observe that people are becoming unduly careful around you, expressing pity rather than respect, or making assumptions about what you are capable of and are not capable of doing. When you are placed in the category of being fragile or in decline, it is quite tough to get yourself out of that category. Emotional toll is another factor to consider. Recounting your health story over and over again might keep you tied down to anxiety, fear, or even identity that is dependent on your situation with your sickness. And when those particulars are disclosed to individuals who are not close to you, it can result in comments that are unsettling, counsel that is not desired, or even judgment that you did not like to receive. You can hear comments like, "Is it really a good idea for you to go on this trip?" It's also possible that you shouldn't continue to live by yourself. All from those who have a limited understanding of the situation. Instead, make the decision to share just selectively. It is acceptable to discuss openly with those you trust, such as loved ones, healthcare experts, or people who are on a similar journey. Having a connection can be very comforting. On the other hand, when it comes to other people, you may simply say, "I'm managing some things, but I'm doing all right." And there you have it. You're not hiding, rather, you're simply protecting your independence. When they speak, people who age gracefully frequently do it with intention. When it comes to certain truths, they are aware of when to reveal them and when to keep them hidden. The reason for this is not pride but rather wisdom, mainly due to the fact that not every element is worthy of being displayed. And safeguarding your narrative is an essential component of safeguarding your power. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Your personal regrets or missteps from the past come in at number 3. Every person has individual chapters that they would rather not read aloud. However, at the age of 70, there is a more profound level to what we choose to review. Additionally, what we choose to disclose is of utmost importance. For some reason, regret has a peculiar way of lingering, particularly when it is expressed in the wrong environment. Although there is a place for honesty and vulnerability, it is not a good idea to constantly remind yourself of your past mistakes because it may cause more harm than good. That is especially true when those tales are told to those who have not yet earned your reliability. When you talk about things that you regret, choices that you didn't make, opportunities that you passed up, or people that you hurt, you're opening up a vulnerable part of yourself. In addition, if the listener responds to that moment with judgment, apathy, or even a casual dismissal, it has the potential to exacerbate painful feelings rather than provide solace. An additional burden to bear is imposed by something that was supposed to be liberating. It is possible that you will observe a change in the way that other people perceive you when you share these things with someone who does not hold them with attention. It's possible that they will treat you differently, that they will define you based on a single narrative, or that they may start to intrude with their advice, ideas, or assumptions about who you are today. But your history does not define you. You are not a collection of erroneous choices or opportunities that you have wasted. Once you have determined which aspects of your narrative are meant to be shared with others and which are meant to be processed quietly or with someone who is truly safe, You will have gained a great deal of wisdom. It might be a therapist, a spiritual counselor, or a friend who has been with you for your entire life and knows your heart. On the other hand, it is entirely acceptable to merely state that there exist things. Having learned the lesson the hard way, I will leave it at that. The more you grow older, the more you realize that seeking peace through frequent confession is not the way to achieve it. Perspective is the key to finding it, as is the realization that your history has molded you, but it does not possess you. The fact that your errors may provide an explanation for a few things, but they do not define who you are as a whole. People who are able to maintain their dignity well into their 70s and beyond have a tendency to be less burdened by their history. They have come to terms with it, and they have realized that not every story is intended for every audience. This is not because they are trying to conceal it, but rather because they have accepted it. In the fourth place, your will or inheritance plans with parties that are not legally recognized. When it comes to the things that you decide to leave behind, there is something that is intensely personal and frequently extremely emotional. At the age of 70, many individuals begin to give their will, their possessions, and the manner in which they wish their legacy to be passed down a greater amount of serious consideration. The fact of the matter is, however, that it is nearly always preferable to keep those particulars private, unless there is a person who is legally involved in handling that procedure. When you start disclosing who is getting what and how much someone is getting, or when you accidentally open the door to dispute, expectations begin to build, and comparisons start to take place. As time goes on, people begin to wonder why one individual was selected over another, or why something was divided in the manner that it was, even within close families, and even when done with the best of intentions. Money and inheritance have the potential to elicit feelings of entitlement, jealousy, and misunderstanding more quickly than virtually any other subject. To add insult to injury, disseminating this kind of material before the situation has been resolved or without the legal context can be counterproductive. You might have a change of heart in the future. Your will can be subject to revision. It is possible that you will come across situations that you did not anticipate. And if those particulars have already been spoken verbally, altering them may feel like a betrayal, even if it is the decision that is best for you. As a result, those who age sensibly have a tendency to keep these matters inside a small circle of trusted individuals. In addition to working with an attorney, selecting an executor, documenting their preferences in a way that is both obvious and lawful, and limiting informal discussions that could potentially complicate matters in the future. They implement these measures. No, it is not a secret. Stewardship is the term. Sharing your ideas with everyone may bring about a sense of transparency, but it frequently brings about pressure that is not necessary. What's more, when you put clarity and legal protection ahead of open debate, you safeguard not only your assets but also your peace of mind and the long-term relationships that your family has. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. The fifth issue is your emotional weaknesses when interacting with persons who cannot be trusted. As people get older, they develop a level of strength that is unique to them. You must have the courage to recognize when to let your heart be open and when to keep it closed. When one reaches the age of 70, emotional clarity becomes even more crucial. Because you have experienced enough, you are aware that not everyone who listens is deserving of hearing what is most profound within you. Moreover, although it is beneficial to discuss your emotions, it is not advisable to reveal your emotional vulnerabilities to those who have not yet earned your confidence, since doing so may leave you vulnerable in ways that are more detrimental than beneficial. It is possible that the person appears to be kind on the surface. They show interest by nodding, asking questions, and acting interested. On the other hand, you later discover that your personal concerns are being discussed in a casual manner. On the other hand, your anxieties may be used against you in order to manipulate, control, or construct a version of you that is not fair or accurate. It is possible that you will say how lonely you have been feeling, that you are afraid of losing your independence, or that certain dynamics within your family are causing you a great deal of emotional distress. In addition, if those remarks are heard by the wrong people, they have the potential to be misunderstood or transformed into a narrative that portrays you as unstable, unable, or experiencing excessive emotions. Aging gracefully is a process that teaches people to give their hearts with discretion. There is no end to their availability. They simply develop a sense of discernment. They are aware that being vulnerable does not mean that they must reveal everything to everyone. It is important to be aware of who is trustworthy and who is reliable, as well as who is respectful of what you have shared and who holds your truth sensitively. It is quite okay to take your time, to test the waters, and to study how someone handles your smaller shares before you hand them the larger ones with the deeper ones. Furthermore, if someone has already demonstrated that they gossip, twist your words, or exploit your sentiments to gain power, you owe them nothing more than what they have already done. Your mental health is not something that they are concerned about. What your heart has been through is sufficient. Having reached this point, it is deserving of protection, care, and maturity in return. When you limit the amount of time you spend with individuals who have not yet earned a place in your life, you make more room for those who have already earned that place. Number 6. The problems you are having in your relationship with your partner or spouse. Every relationship, even the most stable ones, goes through its share of highs and lows. In addition, it is not uncommon for arguments, frustrations, or even old wounds to resurface within a relationship that has been in existence for decades. However, once you reach the age of 70, one of the most prudent decisions you can make is to safeguard your relationship by avoiding discussing your difficulties with individuals who are not directly engaged in the situation or who are unable to provide assistance that is significant. It is possible that venting about your spouse to a friend, a neighbor, or even a member of your family could feel like a relief in the moment to you. Perhaps you mentioned that you have been experiencing feelings of being unheard or that a particular action continues to irritate you. However, the next thing that typically takes place is that the listener will create an opinion. In addition, once that opinion becomes ingrained, it alters the way that they perceive your partner, even if things improve between the two of you in the future. Something that was once a private disagreement is now a part of your tale that is being told to the public. At this point, people start making assumptions. They may provide counsel without being asked for it, or even worse, they may begin taking sides without having a complete understanding of the situation. You have invested a lot of effort into building and maintaining a relationship, and this might place even more strain on that relationship. Moreover, there is yet another layer. If you share your frustrations about a relationship too freely, it may sometimes keep you stuck in that relationship. The story becomes more set in stone when you vent but do not take any action. However, rather than moving on from the conflict, you continue to experience it over and over again. However, when you make the decision to use discretion and convey those issues to your partner directly, to a counselor, or to someone who is truly objective, you open the door to healing rather than condemnation. Relationships that last for a long period typically hold certain things in high regard. Is not a secret, yet it is holy. They are aware that the fact that you are not happy does not imply that the entire world needs to know about it. In addition, they are aware that preserving the reputation of one's partner, especially in the midst of challenging times, is an expression of love that lasts for a long time. Therefore, when anything is wrong, speak up, but do it in a prudent manner. Ensure that your connection is protected from any extraneous audio. Additionally, have faith that certain talks, particularly the most significant ones, are intended to be conducted just with the individual that they are actually about. I would appreciate it if you could use the 6th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Your thoughts on the decisions that your adult children make is the 7th topic. Even after they are well into adulthood, it is common for a parent to have a profound sense of passion and affection for their children. Do you wish for them to have the best? You have a desire to safeguard them. Additionally, there are instances when you observe decisions that they are making regarding parenting, relationships, income, or lifestyle that do not quite set well with you. On the other hand, after the age of 70, one of the most difficult yet essential abilities to learn is the ability to know when to remain silent. The act of expressing your thoughts and feelings over the lives of your adult children, particularly with other people, can quickly backfire. Concerns that you aim to express could be misunderstood as criticism. What you consider to be wisdom may be interpreted as judgment by others. When such opinions are communicated to your children, even through methods that are not malicious, it has the potential to cause estrangement, resentment, or even long-term tension in the connection between the two of you. It's possible that you'll feel compelled to discuss it with a close friend or a sibling. It is beyond my comprehension why Michael decided to leave his employment. Alternately, I wish Lisa would have a different approach to raising the children. On the other hand, once that is out of your mouth, it is in the thoughts of another person, and the way they view your child may shift in a way that cannot be reversed. Moreover, if they find out about it, the trust that you have established with them may suffer a significant blow. Individuals who are able to maintain healthy connections with their grown children are people who are able to exercise emotional self-control. It is important for them to remember themselves that unsolicited advice frequently feels like control. They are awaiting the invitation to come. When it is coming, they speak in a soft voice. However, the most important thing is that they do not share their private ideas. Not public. Don't let this make you stop caring about things. This indicates that you begin to trust. Maintaining faith that your children are living their own lives and acquiring knowledge in their own unique ways. And having faith that your unobtrusive support, your consistent presence, and your polite distance frequently speak louder than any opinion could ever hope to do. Your sage advice is still valuable, but when it is presented at the appropriate moment and in the appropriate manner, it is received with love rather than hostility. And over the course of time, that respect is what creates the kind of connection that is long-lasting. Lastly, your passwords, personal identification numbers, or other essential access details. The management of your digital and financial security becomes more crucial than it has ever been after the age of 70. However, it is also important to be aware of who you may trust with your private information. Passwords, banking access, and other important personal information should never be done in a casual manner, especially with members of the same family. That is not because you anticipate that individuals will abuse it, rather, it is because the risk increases the more widely it is distributed. With order to assist you with resetting things, it could be more easy for you to provide your grandson the password to your email account. It's also possible that you've informed a neighbor about the location of your checkbook in case of an unexpected emergency. On the other hand, once that information is no longer under your control, it is impossible to precisely anticipate where it will go or how it might be utilized. There is really a thing as elder fraud, and it does not always originate from strangers. Sometimes it's a member of the family who has a sense of entitlement. At other occasions, it is a friend who has slipped into a difficult situation. At other times, it is nothing more than an error. Somebody is passing on your information to another person, under the impression that they are assisting you. Additionally, before you realize it, your privacy will have been violated. The most prudent course of action is to retain your passwords and other sensitive information in a secure location and to only disclose them through measures that are legally protected. Among these options are the designation of a reliable power of attorney, the establishment of access with your bank for a particular representative, and the utilization of a secure password manager that allows for the safe retrieval of information in the event that it is required. One thing is frequently shared by those who are able to keep their independence far into their later years. They do not maintain control of their information by keeping it secret, rather, they do so by establishing structure. They are diligent in their preparation, documentation, and planning. Additionally, they do not give up the keys to their own world until it is absolutely required to do so. There is no evidence to suggest that preserving your digital life is a paranoid act. In order to safeguard your liberty, your assets, and your dignity, this is an essential component. Furthermore, the future of your organization will be more secure if there are fewer individuals who are aware of how to access your sensitive documents. There is no one watching over you. It is quite astute of you. This insight pays out in the form of mental tranquility and the ability to maintain a strong grasp on what is rightfully yours. Please leave a comment below with the number 8 to let me know that you are still watching this video and that you believe these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Your plans to relocate, downgrade, or otherwise alter your living circumstances is the 9th item on the list. At the age of 70 and beyond, the concept of altering the location or manner in which you live becomes a decision that is highly personal. Perhaps you have considered relocating to a location that is more convenient for your family, downsizing to a smaller space that is easier to manage, or moving into a retirement community. However, this is where things start to become complicated when you share those plans too early. When there are too many people, you run the risk of inviting a storm of pressure before you are even prepared for it. Anything that starts out as a fleeting notion, such as, perhaps I'll sell the house in a year or two, has the potential to swiftly snowball into recommendations, assumptions, or even unasked for assistance. The family can lobby for a more expedient response. It's possible that your friends will start treating you differently, as if you've already left the house halfway through. An even more serious possibility is that someone will start making plans for you rather than with you. As soon as you start talking about anything as significant as a living transformation, people will automatically start projecting their own concerns, wishes, or ideas onto it. Remember not to go too far. It will be a mistake to leave. We recommend that you move in with us. All of them may have good intentions, but they are not always useful. In addition, if you are still in the process of making a decision, the noise can make it difficult for you to think clearly and cause anxiety that is not essential. Because of this, a significant number of persons who mature with clarity opt to initially process these decisions for themselves in secret. They keep a journal, they pray, and they only communicate with one or two very trusted voices, rather than the entire circle. On their own time, they gather information, consider their choices, and proceed at their own pace. And once they are prepared to take action, they will then share. The premature announcement of intentions, particularly significant ones, has the potential to transform your private process into a public debate. When there are more people involved, the situation becomes much more convoluted. On the other hand, you can maintain the tranquility and autonomy that this period of your life merits by keeping your plans close at hand until you feel certain and understand everything. Early access to your process is not something that you owe to anyone. When the time is correct, you will let the appropriate individuals to enter. In addition, individuals who genuinely care about your well-being will respect your pace and your privacy as you go forward with the next phase of your life. Finally, some insights from Pramod Manohar. Please take a minute to reflect on the topics that we have discussed together as we come to the end of this video. At first glance, these 9 items can appear to be little. Nevertheless, upon closer inspection, you will notice that they are all connected to a single fundamental concept: safeguarding your tranquility. After the age of 70, the value of your time, energy, and emotional security is greater than it has ever been. Additionally, understanding what not to communicate can be just as powerful as knowing what to say. If you had to choose one of these, which one would you choose? Have you ever found yourself oversharing anything that you subsequently realized turned out to be inappropriate? To put it another way, have you gained the knowledge via adversity that certain things are better off being kept sacred? In that regard, you are not alone. A good number of us arrive at this point in our lives and come to the realization that borders are not about constructing barriers. It is about making room for clarity and respect to coexist in the space that they create. Even now, sharing is a lovely thing. Now, however, it is about sharing in a prudent manner, with the appropriate individuals, at the appropriate times. This kind of insight is not aloof or unapproachable. It is one of the most thoughtful and heartfelt presents that you can give to yourself. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.